Adelan supplies solid oxide fuel cells. So it's a type of fuel cell technology, which is a kind of hydrogen technology, but we don't always need to use hydrogen. So we can actually use hydrocarbon fuels as well, which allows us to be fuel flexible. So we can use fuels that are readily available and cheap today, and then it's future-proofed for hydrogen, for the future hydrogen economy, which we expect and we support. But there isn't enough hydrogen at the moment, so we're looking to use everyday fuels that people are very familiar with, such as LPG and bio-LPG, and other formulated fuels like DME, which are very, very low carbon. So yes, we invented the microtubular solid oxide fuel cell, which is a particular architecture of fuel cell, and it's a particular type of fuel cell. So there are 5 different technologies within the fuel cell grouping and family of technologies. So I was at university and my dad was making flat plate solid oxide fuel cells, and I asked him to make tubes because it seemed sensible. Siemens Westinghouse at the time were making test tube shaped tubes, and I didn't understand that, so I just said, build me a pipe of ceramic, and I'll test that with hydrogen. So that was in the 1992. I started working on these microtubes, and we got great results, and it immediately became interesting to not just to us, but also to people outside, and word spread, and eventually we gained investment through that technology. So the thread of my career is really about eliminating air pollution and reducing the emission of carbon. So overall, I've made progress in that we feel that we have influenced, and not just policy, but also science in this area. So my career highlight really is being named Hydrogen Champion for the UK as part of Mission Innovation, which is recognition from my international colleagues of my role in hydrogen, not just in the UK, but globally. So we have really supported the focus on hydrogen since the mid-90s, and understood that hydrogen would play a role in future integrated energy systems. So just actually seeing that 25, 30 years ago is also a highlight, because we were very early to understand that and became the first UK fuel cell company to be formed as a result of that. And we're actually one of the earliest formed fuel cell companies in the world also. So having that vision and understanding what the future held was a really, really important step. The UK is following many other countries around the world in developing the capacity to generate green and also blue hydrogen. So hydrogen is being generated through different technologies, electrolyzers, or steam methane reforming. And these technologies are producing hydrogen that we can use in everyday life. So at the moment, hydrogen is really an industrial chemical in the UK. We don't use it very much in everyday life, in vehicles or in homes or in products. But the prospect is that we can. And I drive a hydrogen car today, for example. And many more people would probably choose hydrogen cars if there was more hydrogen available. So what we see that the government is doing now is stimulating the supply side of hydrogen to meet the increasing demand within the population for low carbon products and low carbon fuels. So it's a great step forward in that the UK has acknowledged and embraced this technology, but we see a lot more to do, and we are in those early markets, encouraging people to take a look at the technologies. It's not for everyone, but we want people to have a look at the technology and see whether it can solve their carbon problems in terms of reducing their carbon emissions, and also other things like reducing air pollution, reducing noise, reducing other nuisance factors that actually we don't need to tolerate when we generate energy. So it's a great step forward that the UK government has made. So one of the advantages of being around for so long as a business and also being so old means that we do know everybody in the hydrogen economy, and we know people that both produce the hydrogen and also the hydrogen technologies, the fuel cells and the electrolyzers. And one of the great proponents of hydrogen technologies around the world has been Toyota, who have had a commercially available vehicle, hydrogen vehicle, on the market for several years. So as soon as the hydrogen station was opened in Birmingham, and that was just before the opening of the clean air zone in the city, we partnered with Green Tomato Cars and Toyota to make these vehicles available for those who want to try before you buy, people that want to just hire, lease a vehicle for 1 to 6 months to see whether hydrogen works for them. Because hydrogen isn't going to work for everyone. We know that. It's the same with electric vehicles, any type of vehicle, in fact. So we want to give people the experience of trying a hydrogen vehicle in the city, improving the air quality in the city we live in, and also giving people the benefit of guilt-free driving. It's about 10p per mile to drive as well, so it's economic. And it's a very different driver experience. So we were really keen to partner with these organisations to offer people in our city just a taste of what the hydrogen economy can offer. And it's going really well. We like promoting these vehicles. We like getting into discussions with people that want to expand their interest in hydrogen and fuel cells. So it's been a really positive experience. What I'd like to see is lots of customers for clean, low air pollution, low carbon generators for distributed energy. So we very much believe in a decentralized energy network, not just in the UK, because we have a very centralized, very good energy system, but also in developing countries or remote locations where you just don't have that grid set up. So we'd like to speak to anyone coming to the show that's looking for a low carbon option. But it's not just low carbon. So fuel cells and hydrogen don't just offer the environmental benefits. They actually offer a lot of other benefits as well. So fuel cells are able to generate power remotely for longer than other types of generators. And that's mostly because they're very efficient. So they don't use as much fuel. So you don't need to leave as much fuel out in remote area to operate these systems, and they can be hybridized with batteries, with solar cells, with wind. So we sort of see fuel cells as being a perfect technology to support low carbon generation in remote areas, but it's also because they offer this unique utility to customers who just probably have a problem in getting energy to a remote location.